Welcome to Unhinged Thoughts. I'm your host, Felicia Mansakani, along with,
And I'm Juliana Sancho.
and welcome to this episode, Ghosted to Hosted, with our special guests, S and Obed. To start off, let me ask you the question: how would you define a healthy relationship, whether it's romantic, platonic, or familial?
Oh, do you want to go first?
And we'll be
Any of you guys can start talking.
Okay, I'll go first.
Wow.
I feel like how I would define a healthy relationship is something that's equally benefiting both sides, whether it's your family, your friends, someone, your special someone. I think to have that, to have a healthy relationship, it's really through communication. And I think that's so cliche and everyone takes it for granted, but without it, a healthy relationship couldn't really work.
As for me, I think.
Huh?
Huh?
Continue.
As for me, I think a healthy relationship would be a relationship where you could grow into it, where you could grow, like in. Oh my god. Where you can both grow individually as people and you won't be held back in a way. And something as well that can definitely make it a healthy relationship, and it might sound like a generic answer, it would definitely be communication, because for me, without it, I don't think it would be easy to continue a relationship without having to talk to each other with the conflicts and stuff.
Like also similar to what As and Obed said, like along with effective communication, I also think effort has to be there, because like if both parties are not willing to put in the effort, it's at the end of the day it's gonna be one-sided, and you wouldn't want a one-sided relationship.
Yeah,
Like,
that's
why are
true.
you putting all the effort when the other person also has to put in the effort, right?
Get out of the
Yeah, might
get
as
out
well
of that
leave
relationship.
the relationship.
Yeah.
Exactly. Get out of it while you still can.
Yes. What about you, Lisha?
For me, it's just someone who you can literally feel so comfortable with. Like, it's so important to be in a relationship, like whether that's family, friends, or in a relationship with someone like your significant other. It's so important to be there for them, and it's so important to have that proper communication with them.
Totally agree. Communication is key. Okay. Oh, story time. Can you guys share a story about how you met someone important in your life and what was your first impression of them?
Okay. I have this one story. It's very interesting.
Very interesting. Okay, go on.
My ears are open.
Okay. It happened through the pandemic, and when I was in high school, I kind of started talking to this girl, and all throughout the whole, I wouldn't call it a relationship,
Situationship?
but it kind of was. Okay, throughout the whole lockdown period, we were, I guess, talking, and then by the end of it, she had to move to another country
Mm.
because their family kind of relocated, and I think throughout that period, it was very long. Communication was really something that we valued. It was something that was heavily practiced, I guess, in the relationship, and that's how it kind of lasted until up until that point. So I think I really can attest to the saying that communication is key in a relationship. For the most part, yeah, it was healthy, and there were some conflicts, but at the end of the day, it was really resolved by communication.
But
So,
did you guys end the relationship in a good note or in a bad note?
well, because of the differences, I guess it just kind of faded. I mean, it didn't really um, lead to anything. It just kind of came into a conclusion, like a mutual decision.
Mm.
But it should just be up until that point.
Well, That was a good story.
Yes, yeah. Very interesting.
Yeah, I was actually intrigued.
How about you? Yes.
As for me, well,
Oh
it's
my
not like
gosh.
Cut that out.
Yeah, I'm gonna
that.
cut
That's
it out.
fine. Just cut it out. But like, mine isn't exactly something positive. It's more on the negative side, actually. So back when I was like last year, actually, I had this. I had this peer. He was a year below me, but he was older than me, and we didn't talk to each other all throughout the year, and we started getting close towards the end of it. And the more we got close, we became friends, and then it turned into something more. But it was never really labeled. It was more of something na parang, oh, it's just a situationship. It would never turn into something more. But then I found out that he was telling people that we were in a relationship, like boyfriend, girlfriend, when we never really talked about what we were. And I sort of got, I sort of got the ick from that because we never really talked about it. We never really communicated about what we were. It was just that, oh, we like each other. That's it. And I sort of broke it, whatever this relationship was, I broke it off, and then we decided to stay friends. And a few months later, I found out that he was still telling people that we were together when I got here to Enderon. And
Serious?
when yeah, like I was barely talking to him in that point because I was really off by it. So it during the middle of the semester, like no first semester, I talked to him about and he said that it's better that we shouldn't be friends anymore because I was seeing someone else, but in reality I was not.
What?
So yeah. He just sort of like gave an excuse, oh, you're seeing someone, we should see other people, when there was nothing.
Why are they
He sounds
always like that?
obsessed.
Okay,
I don't know.
Oh,
I have a take on that.
Please go.
Because this is gonna open a whole can of worms. But I think the situationship culture in our generation is such like a prevalent thing.
I agree.
Especially when
Actually, I do agree. I agree.
hopping around and all these situationships. Even like, okay, can I say it? Because it's kind of
Yeah,
Yeah,
this is
say
an
it.
open
Go.
discussion. Unhinged thoughts, remember?
Go ahead.
those friends with benefits relationships are really seen in our generation, and I think that roots from the lack of, I guess I won't blame people who do, because I've been through it, and I think looking at my experience, it really just shows a lack of commitment and responsibility for someone else's feelings, because
Right.
nothing really ends well with those relationships.
It
Because
really
there's
It
does.
no,
doesn't. I've experienced this.
Yeah.
I completely agree with everything you're saying.
yeah, because there's no certainty of any security, because at any time it could just go, oh, not interested anymore. Let me just,
Yeah, especially when they're apprehensive.
yeah,
Or when they if you like want to talk about the relationship.
yeah. That's why I really believe that if you're not ready for a relationship, if you're not ready to sacrifice some stuff for others, or I guess for the both people in the party, I mean, just don't. Because
Yeah.
you're handling someone else's feelings, and to kind of shun away their feelings for your own, to be selfish, is just like one of the worst things you can do in a setup like that.
And also, like, my take on that is that I agree with what Obid said, is that it's best to cut it off right away rather than giving that person hope that there could be something in the relationship. Because it will,
Yeah, because
at the end of the day, it will just hurt the both of you.
Yeah, you're
That's
just dragging along their feelings, and like, I don't know, it leaves that expectation.
Yes. And we wouldn't want that. Just
Like,
Don't blame
Okay.
anyone's feelings, guys. It's not good.
Truth.
Okay. So the next question is: have you formed an unexpected connection with someone, and what made that unique? So that can be like family, friends, or even a significant other.
Anyone?
Unexpected connection, guys.
Unexpected connection.
Like you guys just clicked, you know?
I'd say actually my best friend at the moment. She actually doesn't go to Enderan, but we met in in grade school, and she was actually we didn't click at first, and she was the least person I expected to be close with. But when we got to high school, like she was the only person that I could ever go to talk about my problems. Because back in grade school, we used to fight so much. Yeah.
I think we've all
But-
had that.
Yeah. But now, she actually moved to Australia and I don't see her as much.
But you guys are
But
still
she's like my soulmate.
communicating. But you guys are still communicating, right?
Yeah, she's basically my soulmate. Like,
Yes.
Oh,
I thought I was your soulmate.
like platonically.
Okay. What about you, Ovid? Any unexpected connection with someone?
Yeah, I think I have a pretty similar story to S. Because I had this one friend in high school also. This is also a lockdown story. A lot of shit went down in lockdown.
That's
So
so
it's-
real. Yeah.
So basically, when you're confined in like your home and you're alone with like all of your feelings, kind of gets overwhelming sometimes. And she was that one friend that I could always like constantly talk to. We talked about everything because me being a very like I guess people call me random. I just have these random conversations with people, and she would listen to all of them. From like random shit we talk about to like rants. We were always there for each other, and I guess that was really pivotal to me staying sane. Throughout the period that we were all like confined in our homes, and it was very unexpected because in high school we were in very different friend groups. I was kind of friends with people that she wasn't like a part of that circle. So it came to me as a surprise when one day she just asked about an assignment, and it just like progressively became something more than just I guess more than just us being acquaintances. But I really think that she's been such a good friend to me. So that's really like, that's such a blessing today, because it's so rare to find like a friend like that, someone you can really talk to.
Yeah, plus
I agree. Yeah.
she like from the way you describe her, she seems like a really good listener.
Mm-hmm.
Like
She
I'd
is.
rather have a person in a relationship who'd rather like, listen. I don't need you giving me like advice, but I'd rather have a person who's willing to be there to listen.
Exactly.
Yeah. I'm not asking for much, guys. Okay, what about you, Lisha? Any unexpected connection with someone?
So it's similar to S's story where it's like, I don't know, elementary school, it's like you fight with everyone. You always have like the newest drama. You're always running to the principal saying, this person is like mean or whatever. But like, I made so many unexpected friendships with these type of people that like I never ever expected to be close with them. And it was honestly like the best friendships I could have in this lifetime. What about you, Juliana?
I think it was like in my previous school. Like there was this one girl in my class. Not everyone liked her, but I didn't have anything against her. But I was never there to talk to her. So like, I think COVID happened, and then we came back face to face, and I think we kind of like started talking to each other. And I always wonder like why did people hate her so much? Like she's actually like a really good person, and I feel like you shouldn't really judge a person that way too fast. You should approach them and say
Yeah,
they
because
have
it's
like good
so
intentions.
misunderstood sometimes.
Yeah, like I never realized that I would be friends with a person where the whole school hated her.
Real, yeah.
Yeah. Okay. For our next question, guys, what is your love language and how has your understanding of it impacted your relationships?
Love.
Guys.
Okay,
Well, okay. Oh, okay.
you go first.
But for me, my love language is definitely physical touch. Yeah,
Yes.
I don't know. As a kid, my family was very loving since I'm the youngest child, and that sort of affected a lot of my relationships because a lot of the people in my friend group, they're not exactly touchy people, but the more time they spent with me, I noticed that they've become insanely touchy. Yeah.
Well, for me, it's like the opposite. Because, like, I think I've never received that much physical touch. But that's my love language. I think it's because, like, I crave for it. Yeah, I crave for it. And, yeah, and I think it has impacted my relationships because, like, people say that I give really good hugs. As far as from what I've heard, that's what I've heard from some people. What about you, Oven?
For me, because growing up, yeah, similar to you guys, like what you don't receive as a kid, I guess, uh, that's what you outwardly express. So for me, I wouldn't say it's physical touch because I don't like to get I wouldn't like to get intimate like fast. I wouldn't I'm not like that. So for
Okay.
me it would be uh giving gifts, or I guess, yeah,
Quality
giving
time.
gifts. Because uh I really think that for me, like giving something to someone really makes me happy because they would know how much effort I put into that one thing, and it would just it doesn't mean that how much I love them like equates to the stuff I give, but it really gives me happiness when I give to others. So I guess that's mine. And another is, I guess, words of affirmation, because I again I really value communication, and I guess that comes with it because in a relationship I would just really do everything to make someone feel that they're loved, that they're secure, and that's kind of that's kind of it, to be honest. And I don't have much to say to that.
Honestly, like I completely like relate to you at this point because I am also not a very touchy feely type of person. Like I am genuinely not the type of person to like go up to a person and give them the biggest hug ever. Like unless they're super super close to me. But like I love words of affirmation. For me, it's like if you care enough for me, if you think that you know me and whatever, you can at least act on it with like a message. It's not that hard to send a message. It's not that hard to communicate with people. So like if they were to like message me just like appreciating me or like me appreciating them, it just makes your day, you know? It just like I don't know, it brightens up your day. Just even receiving like a hey, I'm here for you or whatever.
That was deep.
Okay. Moving
Okay.
on to the next question. How did you have any bad experience with any type of relationship? How did you resolve it, or how did you work through it? Did you leave, or did you work through it?
Sorry, I'm trying to think.
Oh, it's fine.
No, for me, I think when it comes to relationships with your family and your friends, I guess it kind of gets hard because you don't really meet eye to eye with other people. But I think to solve, I mean, to give an example, I never really got along with my brother,
Mm.
and I kind of throughout like my childhood, I would always get into fights with him, but it always would end in us just laughing it off. And I think there's that unspoken rule that if something happens, you just let it go. I mean, I know it's toxic. It may be toxic for some, but I think that's kind of a way for, especially for families, to just, I mean, let go of any bad blood or any conflicts you have. Because I really think that that bond that you have with your family and friends, it really just doesn't go away. Because they're there for you for life. So I guess aside from communication, it just happens. I mean, it just gets, I wouldn't say pulled under the rug. It just gets solved with time. And I think that's a really important thing that we need to remember, that some things just get better with time.
Mm. I definitely needed that. Okay. What about you, Sophia?
Uh,
God.
How about you, us?
We'll cut that out.
Yeah, that's fine. But for me, I think I used to have this friend. We're not exactly very close anymore, but at the beginning of the friendship, we were super close. We tell each other everything. It's actually a very recent something that's happened recently lang, and throughout the course of the friendship, it was going so well. But I guess it's also my fault and sort in a way their fault as well, because at the time we didn't exactly set boundaries with each other. So anything we would say, it would sort of go, even if it was something that could offend that person, like offend each other. And it also sort of affected our academics as well, because not only did that person not help a lot whenever we did have group works, we would also insult each other a lot. So we didn't actually resolve what was happening. It was more of me telling her what my problem was, and then her saying sorry, but nothing would saying sorry about it, and then nothing would ever happen whenever she said sorry. It would always just be the same cycle over and over again, and it would always just be me saying sorry first whenever a fight would break out. And ever since I realized that it sort of became toxic, I just distanced myself and told her, this is not working. I think we need time from each other. And I guess that sort of did help, because we really aren't, we weren't like before na.
Mm.
We sort of matured in a way when we separated. Yeah.
How about you, Juliana?
I think like you shouldn't think that cutting certain people off is like a toxic trait, because like at the end of the day you're doing it for your well-being. Like at first I saw it as a toxic thing, but it kind of like affected my health, and I was like, okay, let me cut this person off. Like this person's not good for me. Like it's affecting my mental health. So I think you shouldn't really see it as a toxic thing. If it's affecting your health, then I think you shouldn't really see it as a toxic thing. Yeah. And also, for me, I was like scrolling in my social, in TikTok, and I came across this person who was in a podcast, and I instantly connected with what this person was saying, and it was because like she was saying that ever since she was young, she had to like excel in basically everything in order to receive love, and I was like, that's exactly what I experienced and I'm still experiencing right now. Because like imagine even like receiving love, you're gonna have to get qualified for it. You're gonna need like qualifications in order to
Oh,
receive
I
love.
need that podcast name right now because I genuinely want to follow them.
Yeah, and then I was like, and that impacted my relationships because I was like, because I got into a relationship and then I was at some point in our relationship I was questioning, am I being with this person because I truly like this person, or am I with this person because I like the feeling of being validated? And then I was like it's definitely the second option. Like I like, because like at some point whenever I excelled at something, especially my academics, people would give me love, and I think that has kind of impacted my relationships. So whenever someone like would like pursue me or something, I would like totally accept it because I was like, oh, it's because I'm being validated. And at some point I realized it's not a really healthy outlook, and I realized that I have to like really work on myself before I get into any serious relationship.
That's true. Because some people really think that, I mean, you give the love that you receive the love that you think you deserve. And I think that doesn't necessarily equate to your own perception of your own self worth. Because to be honest, everyone just thinks badly of themselves.
Mm.
Like, especially in our generation, like the self esteem of people just don't really translate into their lives. And I think a really big part of that is just conforming to people, treating them like they're nothing, when in reality, they're so much more than that. I think there's really a problem when you seek that validation from someone and you start to keep looking for it, when in reality, you can find validation within yourself and really live with yourself. Not that it's okay to be like lonely or something. It's just that we need to find time to appreciate ourselves and really love ourselves before we outwardly express that love to others.
I didn't know you were such a good speaker. What the hell?
Right?
Okay. What about you, Lisha? Any bad experience in any type of relationship?
I think I'm a type of person that like I accept the majority. Like I have this thing where I let things go way too easily. I don't fuss over it. I'm like, okay, just like let it go, whatever. But like that's the problem. That's literally it. I learned especially this year that there's like it's okay to let things go, but you also need like a very deep level of self-respect. Like if you keep letting things go, people are going to continue to like walk all over you. So like when it came to like my friendships in the past or like my family in the past, I now like compared to like before, compared to like last year, I now have this like mindset where I'm like, I understand you're so close to me and I understand that I have this like deep level for love for you and like I care for you, but like I'm not gonna accept you like acting I'm not gonna accept you to like treat me badly and I'm just gonna let it go and be like, all is forgotten, all is good. Like I don't know, like now I'm just like I won't say I'm a different person, but I think I'm like stronger mentally because now I just don't accept the nonsense that people want to give
Slay. Yes, we love that attitude.
Okay, what's our next question?
What are the key parts to building and maintaining trust in your relationships?
I think um staying to your promises and building that trust within the relationship through like actions, not just words, is really important in every relationship, of course. But sometimes complications like happen, and the trust can definitely be broken. Because I mean, no one is always gonna like uphold morally upright decisions. But I think, at the end of the day, we're all human and we all can make mistakes. But what's important is upholding that trust and knowing how to talk through every situation.
I totally agree. Like, in order to like maintain that trust in a relationship, I feel like you shouldn't be making any empty promises and giving that person false hope. Like, basically, don't lead that person on, because then you're just gonna end up hurting that person, you know. And from a personal experience, yes, it was hurtful. What about you, S?
I think for me it would be definitely accountability whenever you have any conflicts or fights. I think whenever you talk about it, you should definitely take accountability for your actions and try to understand where that person is coming from, because you don't really know whether they could be hurt by what you're saying or they could be hurt by your actions. So I think that whenever you guys have conflicts, ganun, take accountability and try to understand that person.
A person who admits their faults is a mature person, I'd rather say.
Exactly, exactly.
If you're not willing to admit your faults, then you're just immature. Like, come on.
Exactly. And I think that all ties down to, like, I probably said this like 5 times in this podcast, but like communication. Communication when it comes to accountability, when it comes to like making promises and like not being able to fulfill it, it all ties down to that. It all ties down to communication and actually being able to talk to each other about what to expect, what are the realities of your relationship or like your friendship or whatever that may be.
And at some point, like, if you're ever in such conflict, just lower down your pride and just admit what you did wrong.
Yeah.
Yes.
Like, what good would being prideful be like do for you, right? Okay.
But
Yeah.
what if the person like really doesn't let their guard down? What can you say about that, guys?
Like, Mark, what do you mean?
Like if they really won't take accountability, or they continually defend themselves for being wrong, what would you guys do?
But do they actually want to, but they're scared not to take accountability? I mean, scared to take accountability?
No, just in general, they're just really firm with their belief that they're right.
I'm gonna say something bad, but no.
I mean, honestly, I really wouldn't know how to handle that type
I
of like,
would.
situations.
I'd rather walk away. I'd instantly
I
walk
honestly,
away.
I'd rather walk away from that than to further
At
have a
first,
fight.
I'll
Yeah.
try convincing that. I'll try telling that person, okay, admit your fault. What you did is wrong. What I did is also wrong. But if they're still not willing to, like, admit their fault, then I'd rather save my energy and walk away.
Yeah, but I think that's when damage control really comes in, because protecting your own peace, I guess it doesn't really benefit anyone else but yourself. And that's being selfish is important sometimes, because
It is, yeah.
when you give everything to a person, or when you give everything to everyone, when you're alone, you just feel drained. You just feel like you're empty because constantly sacrificing for others really takes away from your own self-worth. And I think a really important thing to remember when that happens is if you can try to reconcile with that person or with people to give peace to your own conscience or any of the party's conscience, just do it. Because at the end of the day, you don't have regrets. I mean, it could be wrong to your own morals. It could be that you feel some type of way, but finding that peace within you to forgive, not even to say it to them, just to forgive them, within yourself, you can really find peace, within
But,
that.
like,
Yeah.
I honestly find it extremely hard sometimes to forgive a friend for something that they can't even take accountability on.
Especially if it's something that they did really bad.
Exactly, because it's like, I wouldn't do that to you. Why should you do that to me? And why should I just forgive you for something you're not even sorry for?
Honestly, I agree so much because whenever that type of stuff happens, I think you lose more trust in that person because you don't really know whether they're gonna do that again or not because they don't take accountability for it.
Yeah, exactly. They don't even know what they did wrong. And it's like
Exactly.
you're trying to convince yourself, oh, that was okay, that was fine, that's just their personality. But it's not. That's not okay.
And if you keep forgiving, that will just they'll just start pushing you around.
Yeah,
And
it's
they'll-
like giving
and
them
they'll-
more power in a
Yeah,
way.
and they'll make use of they'll exploit your trustworthiness, and it will end in a bad note.
I disagree with that because, I mean, forgiving someone within your own, I guess, headspace just lets you reclaim your own power because knowing that you didn't do anything wrong and walking away from that toxic person or that group really just benefits you as a person, and the more you're at peace with it, the more they're gonna, I guess, realize the wrong things they did because they won't really adhere to the idea of accountability without realizing within themselves first. And I really experienced that with people. Because when I get in conflicts with people, aside from me trying to communicate, if there's really a problem with communication, I just let time fix it. And one day I just get the message or they approach me and saying, oh, I was wrong. I did this, I did that. You're a really good friend. And I think that's very important when it comes to relationships, is that there can be silent forgiveness, and through time, everyone would just move forward and the stuff they did and grow all together.
I guess it differs for everyone in this podcast, but yeah, I'm liking the opinions of everyone from this podcast. Because again, this is an open discussion.
Yeah.
Okay. Seventh question. What strategies do you use to resolve conflicts in your relationships? Did we talk about that?
I think we did.
No, we didn't.
We
Huh?
did?
Oh, we did?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think we'll skip that part. Okay. How have your past relationships shaped your views and expectations of current and future ones?
I mean, for me, I wouldn't say I've been in a lot of relationships, but I have dated. And I think through that experience, I've really realize how to sift through like the qualities I want and the qualities I want to outwardly express in order for a relationship to work. I think having experience doesn't equate to things working out. You could have 100 people you've been with, still not work out with that one person. But if you have the same, I mean, not the same amount of experience, just have experience and you learn and grow from each. You know what to expect, you know what to do, and you can kind of coexist with a person in a way where it's mutually beneficial, where you can really operate in the same wavelength.
Gets. What about you, As?
I don't really have much to say because I also haven't been like, in a lot of relationships, but in the relationships that I have been in, not a lot of them were good, and I guess what I experienced back then, it made me realize what I deserve to feel, like what I think I deserve in a relationship. Yeah.
What about you, Lisha? Lisha. Okay, fine. I'll just start.
Honestly, my Wi-Fi is so bad. Could you answer that first?
Past relationships. Similar to Over, I haven't really been to a lot of relationships, but there was this one relationship where I had to face the consequences for my bad decisions, because I was a really immature kid back then, and then there was this person who was kind of interested in me, and I didn't even met the guy or even like ever interacted with the person. Yet when he confessed to me, I accepted it right away. I was like, okay, fine. Like, it doesn't hurt to go out with this guy. And then and I think it ended in a really bad note because I had to face the consequences, because since I didn't know who this person was, I didn't like had the chance to see what was this person's real intentions for being with me. And I think I kind of blame my immature self for the bad decision making what I did back then. And based from that experience, I'm trying to learn that I need self-respect. Like, I need to have that self-respect, and that I need like self-worth before I settle with anyone in particular. Yeah.
I agree with that because, like, honestly, based on my past friendships, relationships, whatever it may be, it's like I learned to put my walls up very high and to not let people walk all over me. Like I said in the past questions, I honestly believe that if you let your walls down, people are gonna just like walk all over you, and you're just gonna end up being the one that's hurt. So, like, one thing that like shaped my views on relationships I have today is to like make sure that it's not a one-sided relationship. To always make sure that it's both, like, you both are like caring for each other, you both love each other, and like it's not like one person is above the other.
I agree.
Okay, moving on to the next question. How do you not lose yourself in a relationship?
Oh, I have a really interesting take on that.
Okay, go.
Because, okay, being your own person in a relationship is really important. Because, again, there's two people. Not standing your ground and not, having arguments is a problem. Because if you're not your own person, you wouldn't actually grow. Because when you talk and when there's like challenges, when there's another view contrasting yours, you find middle ground, and that's when growth really starts to happen. And to not lose yourself, I think growth is a very big part of that, because it really starts when there's middle ground, and I guess not losing yourself to another person really is self-worth is a really big part of it. Like knowing your self-worth, knowing your capabilities, what you can outwardly express, and what you really believe in, and standing on that belief really shows that you're your own person. You're not gonna compromise anything for this other person, and to kind of coexist together, you have to not necessarily make compromises, but find middle ground.
I totally agree with Obid, because like you also have to make sure that your significant other doesn't prevent you from that growth. And also, like, even though you're in a relationship, you also shouldn't neglect the fact that you should also love yourself. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree.
I
Like,
agree.
Yeah,
love
yeah.
yourself, because like I think we've heard of this from somewhere, that you shouldn't settle with anyone until you start loving yourself, because how can you love that person if you don't learn to love yourself?
Yeah, exactly. I think like self love is such an important topic, and like what Ovid said like way earlier back in the questions, it's okay to be selfish sometimes. Like selfish is very being selfish in a relationship is so controversial now.
Very taboo.
Yeah, exactly. It's like some people are like, no, it's not okay to be doing this. It's okay to be doing that, whatever. But like, it's okay to be selfish and to have that time to yourself and to have that love for yourself. That like you don't let other people. I don't even know to like take control of you or your life.
Yeah, that's my point exactly. Because being selfish, it can either go one or two things. It can be positive thing, setting boundaries, or a negative thing, being literally just selfish and not considering others' feelings. But in order for it to work, you have to find middle ground. I think in every situation, there comes a time where your beliefs are challenged, there are problems that arise. But if there is middle ground and there's an understanding, that's when a solution can almost be like formulated. I guess I don't know if my wording's right, but yeah, that's my point. And I think having middle ground in a relationship without self-sacrifice, I mean huge self-sacrifices, is really important.
I agree so much with what you said, especially dun sa part ng growth, because I think a lot of the time whenever you get into a relationship, sometimes you don't really leave a lot of room for yourself to grow. So I think that when you should balance your time between being in that relationship and being just by yourself, so
Yeah.
that you can sort of grow into into the person you want to be, if that makes sense.
Yeah, and
Makes total
also,
sense.
if you really confine yourself, like, okay, I'll use like a metaphor. Like if you confine yourself like in a box where there's not enough room to grow, like true growth isn't really gonna happen. And when you find like a bigger, I guess, space, or I mean, a person who lets you grow, lets you do your own thing, lets you be your own person with your own self motivation and aspirations, you have that space and you can eventually grow together.
Yeah.
Okay. Now to our last question for this podcast. What are your goals for future relationships, whether it's deepening existing ones or forming new connections?
Wait, can you repeat the question?
What are your goals for future relationships, whether it's deepening existing ones or forming new connections?
Well, I mean, love is such a
It's
it's
complex.
such a
It's a complex.
it's complex. Yeah, it is. And I think outwardly expressing love can mean so much things in life. It can be towards your family, your friends, or your significant other. But one thing, one goal is that it should be felt. It's not simply just saying things or doing things for someone. It should be felt. And making those steps into making sure that like genuine love is outwardly expressed is really an important thing for everything. I mean, all the things we discuss, growth, self-worth, and what else? What?
Boundaries.
Boundaries. That all comes with love, and it really equates around that. So if love is felt, if it's understood, and if it's outwardly given, there's really no way that anything can go wrong. So I think that's really good goal to have in mind.
By the way, did you mention all this for Filipino?
Hmm?
Did you mention all this for Filipino for the work?
No, it's just I'm
You
just
sure?
improving right now.
Okay. We asked the public for NGL responses, and we've only received one. But we would like to hear your take, your thoughts, or if you disagree or agree with it. I quote, "Not sure if I want to continue being friends with someone who hurt me at a time when I needed them, but we've been friends forever." What are your thoughts on that, guys?
What's the question?
The statement was, "Not sure if I want to continue being friends with someone who hurt me at a time when I needed them, but we've been friends forever."
I'll let you guys take that one.
Why? You've spoken throughout the whole podcast, but except for this one.
Okay, but I'll just give chance to
Well,
Bruce to speak.
personally, I think it already says a lot. Well, if you're considering cutting off that person, na, it must have been really bad. It must have been something super bad for you to even consider cutting off that friendship. So I think they should think about that first.
Like, why are you cutting this person
Like,
off?
yeah. Because personally, I've been like through that so many times na. And you sort of start to realize na you don't deserve, sometimes you don't deserve any of the stuff that's happening to you. And you should really parang, yun nga, like sabi kanina, you should be, sometimes you need to be selfish in a relationship. And yeah.
Okay, Juliana, how about you?
We'll give this to Obe.
What is it?
Okay, I think compromising and taking time is a really important thing to have when there's conflicts with friends. I think through time, things get better. And with that time, there's reflection on what could have been done, what should have been done. And when all goes wrong, I guess it really comes down to communication. And when it's really not feasible anymore, I guess
I definitely agree with that because sometimes you really do need some time away from each other to mature.
Yeah.
And whenever you just get back together or something like that,
Mhm.
the relationship does get better. I definitely agree with that.
What about you, Lisha?
Juliana, do you have any takes?
I've used up all my points already, joke.
Okay, so okay, so for me, I think the main question is, what did that person do to hurt you? Can you move forward from that, or is it something as major and as like, what is like the extent of it? Is it that bad that you feel the need to like remove that person from your life, or do you think that with communication, with an apology, you can move forward with that and with the relationship? Honestly, the thing is, I feel like everyone in this call has already been there and been in a situation like this where someone, you're friends with or you're in a relationship hurts you and you feel the need to leave. And honestly, that's okay. If you feel like you really need to leave, if you feel like you couldn't you couldn't handle that level of disrespect or level of hurt from someone that's close to you, then leave. But if you feel like you can work it through it and you can move forward from it, then stay and communicate, talk about it, and try to make sure that this doesn't happen in the future.
Yeah.
Totally agree. My energy's drained out, guys.
Okay, so that wraps up our podcast. Thank you so much for being part of of being hosted to hosted. Yeah, thank you so much for being part of this.
Thank you for your
Thank you.
time,
Thank
guys.
you.
Thank you.
You guys.